Changes here, 11 minutes in, and Arturo Vidal bringing a good save from Michael Agazzi.
Credit to Agazzi, had a good game today. Thought he could have done better with the goal, but when we talk about goals, have a look at this. The power and the precision. And of course you have to give a little blame and responsibility for Juventus defensively. We've talked about how good they've been over the course of the year, but Ibarbo will find a way all the way through from his own box into Juventus's box, and 1-0, Cagliari went up.
Well, this goal, where he runs 70-odd yards at the Juventus stadium, wasn't the way that Juventus wanted to start the afternoon. But Storari conceding here after he was really exposed by a lack of a challenge from Marchisio and Barzagli. And Victor Ibarbo getting his 6th goal in this second Serie A season that he's been really enjoying with the Sardinians. Back came Juve. There's an opportunity for Marchisio on the half-hour mark.
Well, it's a half chance really for Juventus. They didn't create much in the first half. They were very disappointing, and it comes down to obviously the celebrations. But they did have a highlight, and it wasn't a bad strike at all from Giovinco.
Brilliant effort from Sebastian Giovinco. They couldn't make anything of the rebound, and he was just an inch or so away from the underside of that bar. And an equaliser, which, well, it could have turned the game Juventus's favour, coming as it did with plenty of time to go to half-time. They did manage to make their feelings known with an equaliser with half an hour left on the clock. Vidal's header, Agazzi palming it, not away but into the path of the on-rushing substitute Mirko Vucinic, who becomes the first Juventus striker to reach 10 goals in Serie A this season.
Yeah, defensively, Cagliari just switch off, they get spread apart, and Vucinic's determination at the back post to get on the end of it. Great header from Vidal back. And I tell you what, Juventus played well in the second half, but not good enough to win the game. I thought Cagliari were outstanding in the first half and deserve a point.
Well, Cagliari did come back with Nainggolan. That was the measure of what they could throw at Storari. No real threat in the second half for the Juventus defence. Well, they did always look a bit of a threat on the break. It was all about whether Juventus could put enough pressure on this team to warrant a second goal on the afternoon. And this one for Marchisio looked to have struck Marchisio's hand, Ian.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it's just the upper arm from Marchisio breaking through. And the chances again, there was no clear-cut opportunities in front of goal. And this was a wonderful strike from Isla. Very little we've seen of him throughout the course of the game. But good to see him in action. And today was an occasion like that to give players who haven't played 90 minutes for a long time a little bit of minutes on the field and a joyous occasion.
Well, that's the unfolding of the story on the day, but the unfolding of the season, of course, has been in the works since August, and these fans are waiting to see the culmination of all of that hard work. Juventus are about to be crowned champions officially. We will bring it to you here on beIN Sport. Stay with us. Come back after the break.
Barcelona yearns to become champion. Will they finally get the crown at the Vicente Calderon Stadium? A match you don't want to miss. It's a championship weekend. Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, tomorrow, only on beIN Sport. Welcome to beIN Sport Play. Streaming live, La Liga, the Serie A, Leon, WSBK Superbike, and much more. Watch what you want, when you want, wherever you are. On your phone, tablet, or PC. Get every minute, every goal, and every match online. You deserve more of your international sports. Now you can with beIN Sport Play. The wait is almost over. 19 years in the making. PSG is edging closer. The title is at a hand's reach. Lyon, PSG, tomorrow, only on beIN Sport. The time has come. Neymar, Costa, Marcelo, Lucas, Kaká, for Brazil to take on the world. Watch as the best of Brazil unite and clash with various national teams from around the world. Italy, Russia, Chile, England, France, Switzerland, Japan, South Korea. The Brazil Global Tour 2013, exclusively on beIN Sport. Prepare for a complete athletic journey across the globe. beIN Sport proudly brings you all the season's news, features, and updates from the absolute elites of the athletics. Follow your favorite athletes as they compete in the top IAAF and Diamond events around the world. Athletics, this Thursday, exclusively on beIN Sport. The Spanish League is on beIN Sport. The relentless Real Madrid hails for a miracle. Their objective is to defeat Espanyol and continue fighting for the championship. An exciting championship weekend. Espanyol, Real Madrid, today, only on beIN Sport. beIN Sport proudly presents a 100-year myth that challenges the forces of nature. Ice, rain, snow, and sun. Persistence will feed on effort and pride. The call for the summit is strong. The 2013 Giro d'Italia on beIN Sport. The best of the Serie A, a thrilling battle. Milan, Roma, everything is at stake to the road of the European Cups. Two Italian soccer warriors come face to face towards an epic clash. Milan, Roma, tomorrow, only on beIN Sport.
A very warm welcome back to you as Juventus's fans await the presentation of the Scudetto. This round 37 fixture ending level between themselves and Cagliari. After Cagliari took the lead in the opening exchanges, a goal from Mirko Vucinic bringing the champions level to ensure that they did not go defeated on the final home game of this season. All of the cameras ready, all of the flags flying. We've seen great scenes throughout this encounter, perhaps not on the field, Ian, but certainly in the stands at the Juventus Stadium.
Yeah, top class, and these are the ones who deserve it the most. I mean, look at that, just traditional. What you talk about there is passion, and it means so much to the fans. Absolutely incredible. They live and they breathe it throughout the course of their working day lives to be able to afford to go watch football matches. And when you pay to watch Juventus, you pay for a top product, and this season has been outstanding.
There is Andrea Agnelli, the president since 2010, the fourth Agnelli to hold the position, the second Scudetto for him, to go with the 1-1 last year, and the Italian Supercoppa, of course, claimed in the summer. His grandfather Eduardo, who was the son of the Fiat founder Giovanni, was the first Agnelli to hold the president's position, the man who transformed this team into one of the world's greats. Now Andrea Agnelli at the helm, trying to follow on from the 6 Scudetti won by his grandfather Eduardo. His uncle Giovanni also held the post. His father Umberto was president in the 50s and picked up 3 Scudetti himself, while overseeing the continual transformation of this club. A club which is more than a club. I know we have that phrase elsewhere in Europe, but with certain institutions around Europe, the same holds true, whatever your colours, and the Bianconeri certainly fall into that category.
Well, it's about breeding success, isn't it? And it starts from outside the stadium. It comes from your supporters who pay their money to invest into the club, and obviously you hope you have the right men in control to be able to put the finances to good use. And the signings, Conte, obviously with all the scandal that's gone on with him being suspended as well, It's just a joy to watch. I mean, the faces that we see throughout the stadium, old and young, kids and grandparents, I mean, it's a special moment, and it comes together at Juventus Stadium, this terrific stadium as well. I have to point out, absolutely beautiful.
Well, it was a long time coming, this stadium, having to make do with the Deli Alpi for so long, wanting to own their own ground, being given the opportunity to do that. Obviously had to share the ground with Torino as well, the Comunale, for a few years while they made sure that this site was able to be reconstructed with the new stadium. And look how it shoots up into the sky, purpose built. Not a bad seat in the house, 40,000 fans, and 40,000 coming in to cheer this Juventus team week in, week out, and the opportunity and the revenues that that brings for them to space themselves even more between Juventus and the rest of those chasing in the pack beyond.
Well, it's a special club, it really is, from the bottom to the top. And of course, week in and week out, we've seen some celebrations, and last week we've seen what can happen. You go to Atalanta Bergamo, and you're always going to have some issues with the supporters, Juventus fans. No different there. That was disappointing to see, but we focus on the highlight today, the good, the beautiful, and the best.
Great to see the new generation too. Well, we will bring you the trophy presentation here. The stage is now all laid out.
Well, this is the moment when the players are having that special time in the dressing room. Unfortunately, won a championship myself. And that moment when you share with the team what you put yourself through the course of the season to get to the highest level. It's a moment that's shared exactly within that dressing room, when you look each other in the eye and you know you were there for each other to get to this moment. And this is something you embrace as a player, something you live for, something you work hard for, training day in and day out. For youngsters watching, this is the occasion you can get yourself at if you can work hard. At the end of the day, the results come to the forefront, and being the best is so important when you wear the black and white stripes of Juventus.
The trophy will be presented by Lega Calcio President Maurizio Beretta. Andrea Pirlo not in the team today because of a suspension. He will be back for next week. Remains to be seen whether they will play him or not, given the rotation that's taken place over the last couple of weeks. But certainly in terms of artistry, they missed his influence today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you put Maroni into that position, oh, look at that beautiful trophy. And the players deserve it. Maroni did well today, but it's just not good enough when you have to have that talent to play that position for Juventus. We've seen the Del Pieros of the past, the Pirlos, the quality players that you have in the central part of that midfield going forward, the playmakers, the geniuses, the players who can see things that other players can't see. They're few and far between, and that creation was lacking today. You could see it.
Speaking of the great Alex Del Piero, sure he is watching down under these scenes that are being broadcast across the planet. He said felt a strange sensation last week when his teammates pulled off the Scudetti defence. In the words of the great Alessandro Del Piero, he said anyone who knows Juve well is well aware of its, well, not ability to stop at one victory. You have to win once again after you win, and then you have to win again and again and again. That is the Juventus way.
I think that's what you call a true champion. Once they've won that title, they've had a taste for success. They want more and more of it. That's why you work hard as a player to get to the highest elite level. Juventus have been the best team in Italy, and you have to question where the competition is going to come from next year. The teams around them right now, Milan's, the Napoli's of this world, will struggle to keep a hold of their best players and will have to improve.
It's the first Scudetto celebration that Del Piero has not been part of since 1986. 19 years as a professional at this club, 19 years as an ambassador, as one of the greats.
A big credit to Conte as well for what he did throughout the course of the season. Even though he wasn't on the sidelines at the start of the year, the way the players handled themselves. And of course you have to surround yourself by the correct staff to come in and step in and do the job in your absence. Even though he was up in the box, I'm pretty sure he was there. The ears were open for what Conte had to say.
What a wonderful scene this is. The youngsters, each of them decked out in one of Juventus's Serie A adversaries. So now, young and old, get ready to welcome the trophy presentation. The Champions of Italy Cup, 53rd time that it's been presented, created in 1960 by a sculptor from Treviso, Ettore Galvelli. Sadly no longer with us. It was first handed over to the winners of the Scudetto in the 1960-61 season. Any guesses as to who that was? Juventus. It is so much better to have the trophy presented in this manner as opposed to previous years, all the way up until 2005 when the trophy was handed over at the Lega Calcio headquarters. Since 05 it has gone to the team in their own stadium, whenever possible, of course. Andrea Agnelli celebrating with the backroom staff. The greats watching on. Going back to something that you said as well, Ian, sentiments echoed by Del Piero, who we mentioned. It's an exchange this time, as we see Chiellini come out. Giorgio Chiellini, such a massive part of Juventus's defence. And such a massive part of Juventus's title defence.
Yeah, he's been a key figure throughout the course of the season, such a consistent performer. And a very important figure along that backline, the strong backline. Only 21 goals conceded throughout the course of the season. And a biter. He deserves his medal.
Martin Cáceres, this is his second title after winning the Scudetto last season.
Well, he's been a bit part player throughout the course of the season, Cáceres, and unfortunately due to the injury in the car accident, he is that player who can step in at the moment when given. You get your chance and he will rise to that occasion. He's someone you can rely on within your squad, and when he gets on the field, he's one of those players that you don't miss whoever steps out.
He's one of 13 league scorers this season. Got a goal against Napoli, Martin Cáceres. Well, here's Paul Pogba, who also scored in that game against Napoli. He's had a much more enlightening start to his Serie A career. Unable to play a part because of suspension. But certainly, this season has been the breakout season for the Frenchman. What a signing he has proved to be, with goals, not just important ones, like that against Bologna in injury time, but special ones too.
Yeah, you said it, Ross. I mean, incredible. Paul Pogba's been the difference maker throughout the course of the season. For me, he's risen to the occasion. He's that type of player who needs to have comfort zone. and Conte's given him exactly that. Great season for him.
And now Simone Pepe does manage a light jog. He's made just one appearance all season, just a few minutes, and you can see he's got the support of all of his teammates. 31 appearances last time, just a solitary appearance this time, as he continues to really just try and make his recovery from injury. Thigh problem that's been troublesome all season long. He does get his medal. Claudio Marchisio, along with Gigi Buffon, the two remaining players who stayed with this club when they were relegated back to Serie B. Pavel Nedved was also a player who stayed with this club through that relegation and promotion back to the good times, and Marchisio getting his reward here.
Well, he's another squad player who's played a big role this season. He's come on and done the business for Juventus. He's a quality player, and like you talk about it, the heart and passion will bleed for Juventus Football Club.
Says he wants to be a symbol of this club for years to come. Well, here's Vucinic, a man who did reach 10 goals for the season with his goal today against Cagliari. That's 2 more than he managed in Serie A last season as he won the Scudetto, wearing the national flag. The Montenegrin very, very proud.
Yeah, it's a proud moment for him. And again, the consistency levels he needed to find throughout the course of the season, but his work rate you cannot fault. His passion for the game, his determination, and at the end of the day he got his 10 goals, and that's what matters most to any striker.
Paolo De Ceglie, this is his second. Just 13 appearances this season. The left wing back has largely been kept out of the side by the arrival of Kwadwo Asamoah. He has also been an important figure.
Yeah, very important, really. You have those players to come in and do the business, and I've been impressed with De Ceglie throughout the course of the season on that left-hand side. More defensive-minded, but going forward, he can produce a little bit of magic. Unfortunately, due to Asamoah, he's had his time limited. When called upon, he raised his level once again.
Now, Sebastian Giovinco, for all of his association with Juventus, this is actually his first Scudetto. He was out on loan last year and missed it. Enjoyed his time away with Parma, but delighted to be back, and obviously played a big role in Juve's success and their defence this time around.
Yeah, I think he's been outstanding this year. And obviously injuries have played a role and him missing out on a number of games, but to be honest with you, he's been a great player for Juventus and an important player.
And Federico Peluso, who joined in January, I wonder if he would have been dreaming about this moment ahead of the signature on the contract that he made, knowing that it was more than likely that he had a great chance of earning a piece of silverware with the champions. Man who has helped to strengthen that defence, but here's a man who has played at the back and played throughout this whole squad more minutes than anybody else this season, Andrea Barzagli.
Well, he's the difference maker for me along that back line. Mr. Consistency throughout the course of the season, and you can see the players give him a pat on the back. Absolutely fantastic performer, a strong, aggressive defender, and that consistency level is very hard to find at the elite level in football.
Played 34 times out of the 37 games. Well, here's Nicklas Bendtner. Just 8 appearances for him. It's the first trophy of his career. A man who is still arguably looking to find a permanent home. He will be returning, who would have thought, back to England in the summer window. And you can see he's perhaps not in the best of shape, but determined to enjoy the moment anyway and receive the hugs from his teammates. Fantastic camaraderie.
Well, that's what you call a top gentleman right there, giving the pretty ladies a little handshake. Why not? Fantastic. I mean, obviously he gets his medal. He's been unfortunately limited to his opportunities to play and things that have gone against him off the field. but he gets his medal and deserves it.
Nicolas Anelka, who made just his second appearance in the week as a substitute at Atalanta. There was a lot supposedly riding on his arrival from China, Shanghai, Shenhua. But sadly, it never came to life from Nicolas Anelka. Again, injuries playing a part, but also lack of form. Unable to displace any of those four main strikers for Juve, and wasn't able to really participate in any meaningful way in the Champions League either.
But he wins yet another trophy and another medal. You know, he's been around the world and he's won trophies wherever he goes. And even if he doesn't get on the field, what he does in the dressing room is so important.
He goes with his titles from England and one with Fenerbahce in Turkey. Leonardo Bonucci, a man who was part of the Inter team that was given the 2006 Scudetto after it was stripped from Juventus, and also now very much a Bianconeri hero, more than a squad member, absolute pillar at the back. And he picks up his third Scudetto overall, his second with Juventus.
Top class, for me, the best defender at the club. Outstanding timing and aggression and controlled. He's a top class player and so key to this Juventus defence.
Simone Padoin. He was a January 2012 signing and made 6 appearances in that first Scudetto triumph last season. Growing in stature, growing in usefulness down the right flank.
Well, it's another key squad player. You look at Padoin, he's a player who could come in and obviously raise the game of the team at any given time. And called upon, he always raises his level to that next level. But someone who does just that is this man right here.
Well, a third Scudetto in a row for Andrea Pirlo. Part of the AC Milan team that won in 2011 before switching allegiances. Massive number of years dedication to the Rossoneri, now firmly with the Bianconeri, and a massive part of what Juventus are able to do week in, week out.
Well, it's interesting enough, every single player that's gone up to get their medal has been hassled by all the players going up there, but when Pirlo goes up there, it's a simple pat on the back, and that is the respect that he has inside that dressing room.
What an impact this man made this season. Kwadwo Asamoah, big money arrival, $11 million in the summer from Udinese, another to swap the black and white of Udine for the black and white of Turin.
I think he was outstanding, and I've got to say Juventus thoroughly missed him when he was away in African nations. And since he's returned, it took him a couple of weeks to get back into the squad and ready to go again. But since then, it's been all guns blazing. I think he's been an outstanding signing for Juve, and that pace is irreplaceable on the left-hand side.
As much as I mentioned big money, $11 million, you would have thought in today's market is an absolute steal for his pace and ability down that left side. And now Vidal, the club's player of the year, shaking hands with all of those young fans.
Well, he's been unbelievable, hasn't he? And really, for me, this is a key player in this Juventus midfield. A top-class player. Watched him play a little bit in Germany, and really he's raised his level to the next level, the elite level of world football. And he has been the key, the difference maker to making sure that they secured this title with absolute ease at the earliest given time.
Not surprisingly linked with a move away from the club, but it seems unthinkable that Juventus would let Arturo Vidal leave, especially this summer. Part of the building blocks. Emanuele Giaccherini playing the last couple of games in a row. He was tireless on that left-hand side this afternoon. As I said, perhaps coming up with one of the most important goals of the season in that home win against Catania back in March.
An important player. Really, you have to have those players to be able to rely on to come on and be the difference maker, and he has been that throughout the course of the season. Needs a little bit more consistency and confidence within his game, and belief that he can be that player to raise his level to the elite level to help Juventus go on further.
Steven Lichtsteiner, the Swiss international. Again, the second trophy for him, building on his impressive form last season. Didn't play today. He's been so important. One of the first names on the team sheet down the right-hand side.
Well, you only have to look at today's game to see how big a loss he is for this Juventus side, and he is that type of player again. He's a quality player, can do a lot better in the final third, really with his quality of service in the end. But he's a good player for Juventus, he's a key player for Juventus, and I think he's that player who can take them to the next level as well. He'll be here for a while.
He's a man who's won the Coppa Italia, Steven Lichtsteiner, his former club Lazio. It's a trophy that Juventus are still aiming to claim since their last victory in 1995. On to Fabio Quagliarella then, man who started out with Torino, discovering success on the other side of the city.
Well, I know you're very fond of this man right here because of his quality and his finishing ability. He may not have lit the world alight with his goal-scoring ability this season, but there is a lot to come from Quagliarella, and I think he's a key player to this Juventus squad.
Now Marco Storari playing against his former team today. All smiles from him, obviously. The number 2 choice behind Gigi Buffon, but a gentleman and much travelled, and now enjoying his time back with Juventus. Third season with them after joining from Sampdoria in January 2010.
He's a key player. And when you have a goalkeeper, you always have to have that second goalkeeper right behind him, who trains with him day in and day out, who's his best friend on the road and everything, and everywhere he goes. And Storari has been that man for Buffon. And Buffon so far has been quality this season, and you just question how long he's going to be able to continue to play at that level.
Storari too, now age 36. Alessandro Matri, clearly a popular figure with his teammates. Getting a kicking.
Yeah, you gotta love it. You can only imagine what it's like behind closed doors in the dressing room. And Matri's been a good player this year, scoring goals off the bench. I like him. I think he's got a big future at Juventus as well.
Well, he joined them for $22.5 million a few years ago now. Mauricio Isla, another of the implants this summer, another of the acquisitions from Udinese.
He had a tough game today. Isla on the right-hand side, very quiet in the first half. He looks like a quiet character, but enjoying the moment nonetheless, getting an opportunity to play. And you talked about it in his 7th appearance of the season. Not many to enjoy, but today was a magnificent occasion, and good to see him in action.
Robinho, it's a goalkeeping backup, not really required in terms of building on that squad. Again, summer transfer coming in most recently from Palermo, yet to make a Serie A appearance. But, important member of the squad in terms of the training day in, day out at Vinovo. He will be working with Buffon and Storari.
Oh, absolutely. What goes on behind closed doors is so important. Not necessarily does it have to be a key title name. You have to be that player who can help and motivate and push your players. And for me, this kid has been impressive throughout the course of the season. Someone who's had to step in when defensive duties are called upon and raised his level to the next level to prove to us that he can be that player, a key player for Juventus' future.
It's Luca Moroni, the 23-year-old. You see his final position in defence or in midfield, Ian?
Well, after today's performance, it's really been the first given opportunity we've seen him play in that midfield role, and I just don't see him having the quality there to take Juve further. But defensively, he has the bite, the tenacity, the aggression to be that man as a central defender alongside two quality players, and he's learning from some of the best.
So here, Juventus giving tribute. A lot of the staff who work with the club, everyone being recognised.
Oh, it's brilliant. And it's key. You can see these players' reactions. It doesn't matter. You know, we don't have to know the names of every single one of them who are coming up here, from the tea lady down to the laundry man. The players are the ones who spend day in and day out with these people. And those are the people behind closed doors who motivate, who drive, who satisfy these players and get them everything they need to be able to go on the field to perform.
Massimo Carrera, who started the season on the touchline. Backroom staff member, former Atalanta stalwart, and he really came to prominence in filling in for the absence of Antonio Conte. The start of his season was so spectacular that some had suggested he may well be angling for a move away from the club to take up his own #1 position. That's how impressive he was. Juventus also relying, Conte heavily relying on his assistant. Angelo Alessio taking the first walk, and now Antonio Conte taking the second. Being told to hold his fire. Introduced to the crowd, his partner and his daughter, Vittoria.
Well, he's the man. That's the man who makes this team tick. He's the motivator on the sidelines. He's the motivator in the dressing room. He was the motivator on the field. And Juventus FC will be very grateful to have a man like Antonio Conte on the sideline to push this club to the next level.
And he gets a guard of honour. He was dumped in the bath last week in his underwear. Now he gets a medal and a slap on the back from his players. They follow him like a father. And now the captain, Gigi Buffon, ready to claim the trophy. Well, these fans see it as a 6th trophy for Gigi Buffon. Here's a 4th for the record books, but a 1st for Gigi Buffon to lift on his own. He lifted it together with Alessandro Del Piero last year, but Del Piero has now vacated, and his great friend says that Buffon deserves it. Gigi Buffon ready to accept the trophy. The Champions of Italy Cup. The Scudetto belongs to Juventus. Turin! Hard-earned and treasured forever. Juventus follow up their unbeaten season last year with a fantastic display of power, strength, consistency, talent, skill, energy and enthusiasm. Antonio Conte's partner Elisabetta and his daughter Vittoria amongst those watching on as the Juventus anthem signals yet another wonderful trophy celebration.
Well, it's tremendous, really. You know, the players enjoying this moment. It's something you'll never forget as a professional player. It's something you dream about as a kid. It's the reason you work hard for, day in and day out, to get to the level to call yourself a champion. And every single one of these players can go home tonight, drunk or not, and enjoy the moment and realize that they are the kings of Italy.
Wonderful scenes as the confetti falls, the champagne goes, and the fireworks explode. Andrea Agnelli taking the warm handshakes and congratulations along with his family. Juventus preparing for next season already, but tonight it will simply be about celebrating. The Juventus family.
It's a brilliant moment. It's a brilliant occasion, and sometimes you're lost for words in occasions like this. The hair's raised on top of your arms. And these are great moments to share with the fans who thoroughly deserve this. Being champions themselves. And really push this team to the next level. And the moments in the dressing room that are to follow with their families, the celebrations tonight. It's gonna get crazy, and quite rightly so.
Well, it has been an eventual season of success. Back in the Champions League with another step to go. Another Scudetto comes to Juventus. The 29th in the record books. Another back-to-back title. The first back-to-back titles since they recovered their Serie A status. And they are ready to step on and take the next step in this unwinding journey under Antonio Conte. More to come from Juventus, of course. Thanks for being with us here on beIN Sport all season long. Juventus celebrate.